going on, everybody?
What up, what up, what up? And we are Bizak.
Yep. Once again.
We are back because we just couldn't figure out why I was unable to share the link. And we're also back in this space.
Yep. How long have we been off?
Man, I think it's been a month and change.
Has anything happened?
Oh, tons and tons have happened. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and shout out those who are in our comment section. Not even comments, who are just in the space with us. Mm-hmm. I know that it's been a while. We are inconsistently consistent as it relates to all things, this, whatever this thing is. And so we're just really glad to be back.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I almost feel like I need to reacclimate myself to doing this again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been that long. It's been that long, y'all. It's been that long. We life just life's, and so it is what it is. It is what it is. But how was your week this week, Jamie?
My week was good. It was chill.
Chill.
Yeah. Did some traveling, went to New York City, got to do all the things that I like to do when I'm in New York. Got to hang out with my homeboy, my big brother, Worldwide Wes, and just some other folks, and just being in that whole fashion, clothing, men's tailoring world is cool to me. It wakes me up. It excites me. So
Okay. As you yawn.
As I yawn because I'm tired. I made a worldwide mess with Worldwide Wes.
Mercy, Jesus.
That was
you
good.
Was tired.
Check out the IG if you want to see.
Okay. That's what's up. It feels like you were really close. Don't you feel close?
I am sitting back as the same distance as you are.
No.
I think it's
Yeah. I'm thinking it's a camera. Something
it's
just
how
feels.
you angled it.
Oh, my bad. You trying to blame me? You trying to blame me, y'all?
I'm not trying to blame you. I am.
Oh shoot, you are blaming me. Okay. So much has transpired. So much has happened since we have not been in this space. But we already have a shout out to give. Shay. What up, Shay?
What up, Shay? How you doing? Happy
Yes.
Sabbath to you too.
Happy Sabbath for sure.
I believe it's East Coast, right? There where Shay's coming from.
I think so. Right, Shay? You on the East Coast, right? But yeah. Happy Sabbath. It is a happy Sabbath and happy Saturday as well. Yeah, so much has happened, y'all. So much has happened. So much. Good things, right? For the most part.
Yeah. Nothing. I mean, the girls finished school.
Listen to me.
Yes, good.
Listen, I feel like we need a pause to celebrate that. I feel like parents at the end of the school year need to completely pause and give the hugest praise break to God, because when we think about the beginning of the year, the beginning of the school year, the middle of the school year, and now at the end of it, it's almost like, God has kept us and kept our children, not only kept them, in terms of matriculating through school, but also kept them safe, right? Today marks I think it's the second year. Second year. It's the first year of the Uvalde shooting, right? I think it happened today. It's the anniversary.
It's the 1 year anniversary?
Yes, which is insane. And so again, really praising God, y'all, for the fact that our kids are safe and that they were able to get through the school year.
Yeah, and praying for those families that are reminded of that horrific experience. And just praying and hoping that no one else will have to go through that ever again. But I can't imagine how many bad memories, bad reminders this day must be to the family.
Yeah, very, very sad. So Yeah, I can't believe Caitlin is going to 8th grade and Amber is going to 7th grade. And it's almost like surreal. They were just running around here, little toddlers. Now they are almost through middle school and almost in high school.
It's crazy.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what? When did that happen? That it just happened so quickly, y'all. Like, for those of you who have children, like, that joint just like that. And before you know it, you're going to a graduation and they are walking across the stage and they're about to enter the world, about to be adults. You know what I mean? Like that is.
Yeah. Like what? Caitlin is 5 years away from that.
Yes. I always count it like summers, like 5 more summers.
Wait. What is adult? Adult is 18 or 21? Adult. 18 is adult. 21, you can drink.
Yeah, it's like an illegal age to drink.
Okay.
Yeah. So adult is 18. So when we think about she's 13 now, she literally has less than 5 years. That means she has less than 5 summers with us. So we are, yeah. For those that are empty nesters in this season, my God. My brain is not there. I feel like I'll be, I don't know. I don't know where I'd be or what that would look like. I don't even want to know.
Nah, Melissa says that her son is a senior in high school next year.
I would be overwhelmed. Right with you, Melissa, because I don't know. It is something. Mm-hmm. It is something when you have children, the early stages, and then you're kind of going through transitioning from stage to stage, and then they're about to be full-blown adults navigating the world, you know, hoping that you would have, you know, done your part as a parent to secure their foundation, that wherever they are, whatever it is that they decide to do, that they will remember what they were taught. I think that's like the biggest thing of trying to get it.
Right.
Of trying to get it all in. So yeah. Yeah. I think, who was it? I forgot. What I do appreciate about the journey is that I feel like God gives us everything that we need in each stage of their life to get us through and to get them through it. Right. Mm-hmm. Like when they were toddlers, I did not or could not imagine Caitlin as a teenager. She's a teenager now. And I feel like God has prepared us. We're on this journey and we're working together to help us on this journey of parenting. So, Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, every day's a new learning experience. Having a teenager and a preteen.
Yeah. Yeah.
2 different personalities.
Yeah.
2 different interests. Completely different interests.
Yes. Yes. It is something to behold, but it's beautiful. The journey is beautiful. And I'm just looking forward to more growing with them. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to that. So, while we were out doing all the things, we celebrated 16 years of marriage.
Shout out, 16 years, sweet 16.
We in here, y'all. We in this 16-year-old mark. We've made the 16-year mark, and it has been a journey for sure. What up, Dorian? She's like, South Shore in the house.
In the building.
Yes, but 16, sweet 16, being married for 16 years has been an experience for sure. Mm-hmm. It has been and I would say an amazing experience. What would you say?
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been good. We still together.
Praise him. Jesus, praise him.
You know.
You said, you know. Yeah, so 16 years of marriage has just been a journey. And I feel like it is sweet because I feel that in where we are right now, in terms of our relationship, our dynamic, our journey, it's really the sweet. Like I feel like we've hit a sweet spot in regarding our marriage. What do you think?
Yeah. I think we're at a place where we're really, really comfortable with each other, and we are, I think, still learning. Still processing, but I think we're at a place where we're not wearing any kind of mask.
Right. Ooh, that's good, Jamie. Say that again.
I think we're at a place where we are still learning and we're not wearing any kind of mask.
That's good. That's really good.
So someone this is an interesting question. Someone said, how are y'all navigating your kids' use of social media? I am the man. Yes, you are the man.
Okay, the man. That's a really great question, as I think this question is something that both Jamie and I ponder over and over, and we have conversations about it all the time. I think it depends on I don't know. I feel like what works for us may not work for everyone else, right? Every child, every family dynamic is a little bit different. But for us, how we've navigated social media is that there is no social media. Like Caitlin and Amber doesn't have access to social media. Social media is I don't know what you can call it, like a...
Wait, Caitlin doesn't have Instagram?
No. The fact that you're asking that, I'm like, what? You know she doesn't have Instagram? No. Instagram?
I thought she just didn't have TikTok.
Caitlin has been asking us for the longest to get TikTok. Of course, all her friends has it. Like, TikTok is what everybody is on. And for those of you who are parents, if you want to chime in as well, you are more than welcome to chime in how you've navigated that space with your children, with social media. You know, our kids are 12 and 13 or 11 and 13. I honestly feel that it's way too early for them to have access to social media. And when I say have access, like for it to be almost unlimited access, where it's on their phone, the app is downloaded, and at any point in time, they can kind of go on and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. You know, Caitlin has pleaded her case a number of times as it relates to social media, and specifically TikTok, because she knows Instagram, Facebook, that's just not what we're doing. But TikTok, she's wanted to get on there for a while. And our houses, I don't say, do you think we're a bit divided on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're a bit divided on it, in that I feel that she does not need to have access to it just yet, because I feel that social media is something that will always be. I don't think it will go away. And I feel like she can wait a few years to kind of become even more addicted to the scroll, to just seeing one video, to be seeing one thing after the next. As adults, it's addictive, right? We're on those apps 24/7, some of us, where some of us have to go on fast, right? Much less a child, right? Who doesn't necessarily, that age, don't know how to navigate, or they may not know how to, in a healthy way, navigate it. And so, of course, as parents, you kind of be there. You're there to give them the tools that they need to help navigate. But sometimes, honestly, we don't have the tools because we don't even know how to navigate it in a healthy way. But I just think that the mindless scrolling, as well as sometimes not having complete autonomy as it relates to what they're exposed to, what it is that they're seeing in their feeds, right? Sometimes it's vulgar stuff. Sometimes it's things that are just like crazy, and it's hard, right? You don't want to keep them in a bubble, but at the same time, you kind of still want to protect the innocence that they have. It's hard. It's hard being a parent in these moments or in these times where their friends have access to just about everything. And then you're kind of the parent that's just like, just kind of tightening the rein a little bit. So it's really hard. And I don't think there is a right answer to it. I just think that just try to navigate it as best as you can. I know that was super long, but yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, I mean, we're on the same page in regard to like the content that social media, the algorithms and the influence that it has. Mm-hmm. I know that their phones have restrictions on it. I think like I was kind of researching it a little bit especially with TikTok, because it seems like Instagram is corny now, that the kids aren't really on it. And I think TikTok has restrictions that can be implemented within it so that some of the content that we're exposed to, that she won't be exposed to it. So that's what I wanted to do the research on. So I'm not against the decision to not have them on social media, because I agree it's addictive. It's very little learning happens on it, or a lot of learning happens on it. Sometimes what you're learning is not the right thing. So that's where I've leaned when it comes to the whole social media piece. But, it's still hard to navigate it because I don't know what she's looking at on her friends' phones when she's at school. But I think we've always been the kind of parents where we never let the TV be their babysitter or devices be their babysitters. Like, we've always managed how long they're on their devices and what they do on their devices. And, at a certain time, we have it set that it shuts down. Mm-hmm. And that's usually like an hour before they go to sleep or whatever. And during the week, we've always because we don't want them to be like us, like addicted to their phones. And we want them to continue to read, buy books for them, and to just kind of balance them out. So that's how we have been trying to navigate the social media, just internet devices world.
Yeah. Yeah. From jump, Jamie knows that I am not a what would you say, Jamie? I do not fully endorse devices at all. Like, if you know me, if you know me, like, devices is something that I'm trying to learn how to incorporate to see the benefits of it. Because I do think that children are addicted to their devices. Like, when you go to a restaurant, no longer are you seeing families actually sitting and talking and interacting. You see everyone's on the phone. Everyone is on their phone. And it's something that you kind of have to like be very intentional about, because sometimes we fall into that very trap where one child has an iPad, the other has their phone. We have our phones, and you just kind of get consumed in that world that you completely forget about what's happening around you. And so we really try to model that with the girls when we're at the dinner table eating dinner. It's a no device space. Like, all devices are off the table. Like, we really try our best. It's not perfect, but I don't know. I feel like devices are an experiment. Like, this quick access to our device, I feel like it is all an experiment. And I would hate for us to, especially our children, right? Where devices are children's babysitters, where they literally just get the phone and they're just like zombies, just completely zoned into their devices. And I think there's a time and a place for everything. I think when it's used in a very intentional way, opposed to it haphazardly, like, here, watch this, and then you kind of go off into another room. When they're watching TV, there's only one way. There's a one-way communication, right? The kids are just receiving, but there is no expressing of what it is, right? That there's no conversation. What did you learn? Oh my goodness, that's amazing. How can we grow from that? So I've always, and this is a conversation Jamie keeps saying, like, we need to have in this space, because I'm so passionate about it. But I kind of just like say, no, I'm not ready necessarily, but it seems like we're kind of touching on it. But I know that there's studies out there about how, not social media, how devices play a role in children, their brains, and all the things. Like, we all hear it, but at the same time, we know it, but at the same time, it's like our default, where it's like, give them the device and let them kind of just be consumed in that space. And so I'm just rambling at this point, but yeah.
Yeah, because it's easy. So I don't fault parents for doing that, because it requires work to keep your kids stimulated, right? And the device just answers that, right? We never had TVs in our pockets before. Right. So, when you're at home with your child, you turn on the TV. But when you go out with them, right, and they're, it's almost like you see like that addiction, that withdrawal, like, happening already, to how we've observed how some kids act when they can't get a device, or when the device is taken from them. And like, I think we've just been really, 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 really intentional to not let a device raise our children. And like, even when we take long trips, and I think we were flying to Kenya with them, and we had it like set up that they weren't going to watch movies for that whole trip. They were going to sleep, they were going to read a book, they were going to color, and they were going to have TV times. Because, they, like, sometimes even when we're in the car, they miss so much of the world.
Yes.
When we're driving, because their heads are down on these devices. And I remember as a kid, like, just wanting to be in the car and just looking out the window, looking at trucks, looking at different scenery. And when we pass something like a punch buggy or something, like, did y'all see that? And they're like either quiet or they pick up their heads too late. And it's almost like they're missing life, right? But I guess what's on the device is giving them life as well. So yeah, it's that hard balance with devices. But like Carlene said, I know this is not an episode about that, but I really think you should do an episode about devices, and just sharing your opinions and your views on navigating this world where we can't get away from them.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, quite possibly. And I understand it's a balance. I understand that the world that we're living in, it's forward thinking, technology is increasing, like it's, technology is getting smarter and smarter, where technology is thinking for us, right? We are doing very little thinking for ourselves. And so, or we're doing less, let me say that, less. We're doing less thinking, right? We don't have to memorize phone numbers anymore, right? We don't have to go to a store. Like, now we have access to to different stores, and we can shop online and all those things. But I do feel that there has to be a balance. And I think some of us are, we don't know quite how to balance social media or technology with just kind of allowing our kids to be bored. You know, like it's okay for a kid to be bored. Like if your kid says, I'm bored, celebrate. Yes, you are bored. That's amazing. Because I truly believe out of boredom comes your creative juices begin to happen, right? Like you get to create. I remember being bored at home in my house and just coming up with different things, different games, or starting to create. And, you know, like I always tell Caitlin and Amber, like they be like, oh my gosh, we're so bored. And they know as soon as they say that, they're like, oh gosh. They have to go upstairs or wherever they are and they have to just create something that you never imagined creating. Just use your hands, do something. And so it's a muscle that I think requires consistency, and it's harder, right? It's harder as a parent to have to be in the moment with your kids when you are having 50 million things happening around you. It's so difficult. I get it. Trust me, because I fall victim to it sometimes as well, or I have felt victim to it as well. But I just think it's just the acknowledgement of like, okay, in this moment, we are not, let's go ahead and put this thing down. What do you guys want to do? Are we playing? Okay, okay. Are we talking? Are we drawing? What are we cutting up today? Right? What are we trying to use our brains and our hands to create something amazing? And usually for the girls, when we allow them to do that, they'll be like, oh my gosh, look at what I made. And they're just like super proud of this thing that they created on their own. And I just, yeah. But yeah, maybe that'll be an episode that we can definitely talk more about, because you guys can see I'm super passionate about it, because I think it is possible to have that balance, or try as much to have that balance.
Yeah, it's like Adriana said about being intentional. And like we said, like what we do may not necessarily work for you, because Adriana says like she her son had her iPad, right, to watch movies while they were in the car because he had motion sickness. So that makes sense, right? It's like, so you have something for that. I think the core at it is, for us, is that we don't want devices raising our children, right? And trying to protect. I know, like, and we don't, I'm going to end it with this.
Okay.
We've always wanted our children to be children. And we're very protective of what their eyes see and even what they wear, because they're going to have more years as an adult than they will as a child.
Bingo.
So we want them to protect their minds as much as possible, because when they hit 18, there's a whole world out there that we won't be able to shelter them from.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the core of it. That is it. And we've been saying this since as it relates to everything. For us, we did no candy before they turned 7 or whatever. And of course people used to side eye us, and even like, for them, they go to birthday parties like, you don't eat candy? Like, what kind of kid don't eat candy? Our mindset has always been this, what Jamie just stated. They are children for just 17 years of their life, right? That they are children. And they say at the age of 7, that's when all the things are formed, right? And so they just have a very small window. We have a very small window, as in contrast to adulthood, right? From 18 to the average age of a person living now is what, 70, 75 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they have more adulting than they do being a child. And so protecting that and seeing like that is where all things happen. And just really trying to hone into that time where their character is being formed. So that has always been how we've looked at raising children, raising adults, healthy adults, is that they won't be here forever. They won't be in our space forever. So do as much as we can with what we have in that moment. So yeah, that's it. That's it. Went on a tangent, but thank you so much. I am the man for saying that. I wanted to read what Renee said. She says, the kids can't handle social media. She says, I see what happens in school all the time, and it causes lots of problems.
Yeah. I mean, adults can't handle it. You're talking about kids. I mean, much less, if adults can't handle it, much less kids, right? Like, it's a lot happening. And I definitely do think that for like the adolescent, like one thing we discovered is that a lot of beef is happening because of these social media videos, right? Like the bullying, the cyberbullying, and people getting shot because somebody said something or somebody did something or somebody being made fun of. It's a scary place. It's a whole different world.
Oh my God.
Adrienne says, how do you prepare them from the things you shelter them without destructive exposure? That's a very good question, because that's what battles in my mind is, like protecting them so much. You know, like when you protect something so much and then when you let it out the cage, it just wilds out. And so you kind of like hope that the home training or whatever training they have, that it sticks with them as they go out into the public. But I know you do a good job at like debriefing with them, with talking to them, with processing what you've seen, what you've heard, making sure that they're always communicating, because they always say the worst thing you want is for your child to stop talking to you. Yeah, so that's a good question. It's a gamble, I think, in my opinion. Like, you're doing your best to hope that they stay on a straight and narrow path, or the path that you kind of put them on, and not go to the other pendulum and just be like, I'm going to watch social media for 25 hours, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I think, Adriana, honestly, I'm still new at this. I don't have it all together. First of all, let me just put that out there. We don't have it all together. I think if it does, because that's what we're not afraid of, but as parents, you want to make sure that you protect them as much as possible, right? But if they are exposed to the destructive thing, I think what's important is being able to communicate, for them to be able to be comfortable enough to communicate with you, and you are comfortable enough to communicate with you that destructive thing. And then you could kind of walk them through it, opposed to back in the day, you see something destructive, like you hold that joint in, like you don't let it out. You keep it in until it kind of eats at you. And then you kind of you begin to live that thing. I think now conversations are being had that were never had. And I think, you know, of course we try to protect them as much as we can, but what if that thing we try to protect them from, we aren't able to protect them from, and they're exposed? That's when we have conversations, that when we start talking about, you know, certain things to kind of, I don't know, make them aware and make yourself aware of, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. All right. Okay. How can I try to navigate it in a healthy way? I think that is probably the best part, the only, like the thing I can come up with right now. But yeah. Yeah. And you're right, Renee. We can't protect them forever. I wish we could. My God, I wish we could protect them forever. But it is definitely something that you pray often about. Our kids are something that I keep before God every single day, and sometimes multiple times a day, depending on whatever it is that is, you know, transpiring.
She says she asks because her son has just recently been racially harassed, something I've been protecting him from, and he's not communicating it because he doesn't see the negative. But it's like, how do I even navigate this? And he is 9. Wow. Wow. Oh man. Yeah. Wow. That's heavy. Is the school involved? Is this happening at school? That's one question. And are they involved in what's happening? I think definitely, you know, the fact that he's not communicating it is probably might be something that somebody needs to step in and maybe help, because maybe he feels comfortable talking to somebody else about it.
But she's saying that he doesn't know, he doesn't see it as something that's negative, right? He's thinking like, whatever, like they're saying this or they're saying that, like it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But I think it's I don't know.
And she says in his class and only to him, but he does. Yeah, he may. You may have to have him watch Roots.
At 9? No, Jamie, that is not okay. No, I just think it's just conversation or examples, or possibly getting like the teacher or the school or a counselor involved to kind of help you navigate that space,
Right.
With him. Now, if the school they don't see it the way they see it, the way he sees it, then that's an issue for sure.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that possibly, I think this is a teachable moment for him, because kids are naive. They're like, I don't see what you're seeing. Like I don't understand what that is, because I'm not accustomed to that. Right? This is like they don't see color. They just see people for who they are. And so I think it's a really great way. I know it's hard. And it's okay for you to let him know too. Like it's hard kind of trying to explain this thing to you. But this is how I see it, or this is how I view it, or I don't know, Adriana. But I think it's definitely a moment where you can help. You can both work on navigating that space.
Yeah, not just a teachable moment for him, but a teachable moment for the whole class, because maybe those kids don't even understand. And so she says the word that they're using is monkey. The only word I can use that won't get me. The only word I can use that won't get me banned is monkey is being used. And he's like, it's an animal. And I'm like, yes, but it's being used wrong. And the school is handing no consequences out. So that's a bigger problem in itself, that the school doesn't see an issue with that. But I think this is a wonderful opportunity maybe to walk your son through the history of, that word monkey and Black people, like some documentary or some book or something that he can see or he can understand, like, when that's used towards Black people, that's not a term of endearment.
Yeah.
And number one, he's not an animal, right? So let's not, and they're also helping them to understand, like, to call him by his name. Yeah, and I would assume that too, that the other children would understand. In order for them to be using it at him, they clearly are gaslighting. They know what that word means.
Yeah, and I think you said you have to find something that would educate him. Yeah, definitely books that you can possibly tap into, look up, or whatever, and if anyone can suggest any. For a 9-year-old, I would probably have to look and get back to you, Adriana, just to see what kind of books can specifically talk through some of in history, like how people in history were called names out of their name, whatever. Like, I'm sure there are books like that exist.
Yeah.
But we can definitely help you look for the resources so that you can best navigate this space with him in a healthy way.
Yeah. There are books. I know there are books. I think we've seen them. Some good children's books on tolerance and racism and poverty and all those different issues. I forgot we used to have like a whole little set. I don't know where those books are.
I think it's right here. I think it's literally right here. I think. But yeah, we'll get those resources to you for sure, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, it's somewhere there. You see it? Yeah, it's right here.
Where is it?
Refugee. Well, that's global conflict.
Oh, but
Yeah. But yeah, but we'll get it. We'll help you.
Yeah.
We'll help you. We'll help you. Wow, this is so cool that we started talking about children and all the things. Thank you. I am the man with the plan that came on here talking about asking the question about what about social media and how do we navigate that. So I know my doctor was just like, girl, my children, she was like, I have 3 girls and it's very hard trying to navigate that space, social media space with them because they have it all. So she's like, I have no answers for you. When you figure it out, please come to me and let me know. And I'm just like, Lord, she has like an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old and a 9-year-old or something like that. And I'm just like, ooh, Jesus, help us, Lord. But yes. Okay. So, all right. It's 43 minutes already.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So really quickly, we actually wanted this episode to be 16 questions that Jamie asked me. Was it 16 questions?
No, it wasn't.
My bad. It kind of was cute though, if it was 16 questions. But anyway, so Jamie had this amazing idea that this is the second time he's done this. And when I tell you it speaks to every part of my being, because I just enjoy questions that are just not shallow. Like if they dig deep, it makes me think, it makes me like really assess our connection, our relationship over the years. And when I say like it was amazing. So again, he had these questions. We're sitting at dinner, we're talking about whatever. And then all of a sudden he's like, I have some questions for you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm just all in like, yes, Lord, this is why I love this man so much. And so Jamie's going to ask, we're going to ask each other. And so for those of you who, I guess, who enjoy talking with your partner and digging a little bit deeper in conversation, other than the usual stuff that you talk about every single day, like this is intentional talk. And I just absolutely love it. So go ahead, Jamie.
All right. So here we go. I have to sneeze.
Okay, bless you. Bless
Hold
you.
up, here it goes.
Bless you. Oh dear. And there it is. Bless you.
Yes. All right. I'm back. So what was the best thing that happened this year?
The best thing that happened this year as it relates to our marriage, or specifically just in general?
I think, well,
this marriage,
yeah.
Our marriage. Okay. All right.
You can answer it however you please.
Okay. The best thing that has happened in this 16th year of marriage would be the fact that Jamie and I have taken off the masks and we are truly we're like truly embracing the beauty in what makes us us. I think that acknowledgement and seeing it and feeling it, that feels amazing to know that, when we first got married, I knew that it was going to be good, but I didn't know it was going to be this good, right? It's like, of course, we go into marriage thinking like, yeah, it's going to be amazing. And then you have these moments. But I think that has been the best part, where I can truly feel naked and unashamed in front of Jamie in every way. Okay. Mm-hmm. What about you?
Yeah, I think the same, along the same lines too. I think we're having a lot more fun together. Mm-hmm. I think definitely I think we learned from last year, if that makes sense. So I don't know if the best thing that happened this year was learning from last year. Mm-hmm. And that transition, we went from, I think like being brutally honest, and like how we've taken that into this year, with just, like you said, not wearing the mask and just being totally transparent as possible and no fear within it. So yeah, I think that's I think the best thing that happened this year was learning from last year.
That's good. That's good. Question number 2.
All right, what was your favorite memory from our wedding day?
My favorite memory from our wedding day was, I think my favorite memory was was getting in the car, driving off home to our home, our apartment. I think that was like one of the most favorite things was like, we did it. And now this is our forever. Like that reality sunk in, like, oh my gosh, like this is forever. Okay. All right. So yeah, I think that would be one of my favorite. What about you?
I think it was when you came down the aisle.
Oh, right, when you cried.
Yeah, when we had to go through all that.
I mean, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think definitely when the doors opened and you were that climactic moment. Everybody stood up. Just, it was very picturesque being in Ephesus, and just the whole ambiance and that moment was my fondest memory.
Okay.
Right. How have we grown as a couple since we first met?
How have we grown? Lord, have we grown? Mercy. I think our communication skills, because communication is so important in marriage. And I feel like us being able to communicate in a way where there is less, where I feel less judged, right? Less judged for sometimes not being as clear, or assuming that what it is that I'm thinking or feeling. But understanding, coming to that place now and saying, hey, you don't know, you need for me to let you know what is happening. I think that, I believe, has really strengthened our marriage, where our communication is a whole lot better, where we just can communicate effectively and efficiently. So, yeah. What about you?
Yeah, what is it? How have we grown as a couple since we first met? Oh man, in so many ways, like just I mean, just maturing, right? Just not, like not trying to mirror our relationship based on what we've seen on TV or soap operas or in music.
True.
And being real immature about it. And understanding that this is a reality, and what you see on TV is not it, right? And I think like we've really grown in the areas that are needed to make us who we are, where we are today, right? Like that whole communication, love language, sharing responsibilities, not waiting to be asked or prompted.
True.
So yeah, we have definitely, in 16 years, we have a lot more to go, but we've definitely made some good progress.
It's time for me to ask you one.
Okay.
What is one thing that made you feel loved this week?
Oh man. I think like when I came home and you were excited to see me, and we had dinner together and we just hung out. I think that always makes me feel loved. Like you could have like a cold shoulder and be, like, oh, you're back. All right. Or you're back. We got to go do this. We got to go do that. But you really focused on me.
Mm-hmm. So today I feel loved by you every single day. But today I felt your intentionality when I said I wanted to go to the grocery store, and I had to drop Amber off to school first, but I wanted to go to the grocery store, and I said I needed to get water. And I was like, I really wish you were able to come and with me to get the water because my back has been hurting. So I really wish you can come and get the water with me so it could be easier. And y'all, this dude, I'm about to pull off, and and I see this dude running. He's running because I'm already out of the garage, and he's like running, almost like putting on his shoes. He's like, wait. And I was just like, oh, why are you here? Like, what's happening? He's like, I'm coming because I need to help you. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, that's just amazing, right? Like, it was just, it was like, he just knew. And I was just like, yo, that's my guy right there, because you could have easily been like, oh, well, I'll go after you come back or whatever. But in that moment, I was like, this is my guy. Like, he loves me to rush out of the house, barely dressed and just ready to come to my help. So I've really felt loved.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that.
Yes. See?
Yeah, I know those waters are heavy.
For real, it was 40 count.
Right.
All right, let's do one more.
Okay. Let's do, what do you think makes our marriage strong?
What makes our marriage strong? I think what makes our marriage strong is that I think fully accepting, like, this is me. This is Carlene, right? Flaws and all, where most days I don't feel like I have it together. And you being able to see me in my moments of weakness or my moments where I don't feel my best, like you being able to see Carlene, like know me at my core and know that this is me, and you still love me unconditionally. You still show up for me in the same way you would on like, when I'm at my best, you still show up for me when I'm at my lowest the same way, and probably even more. So I think that I feel like is what makes our marriage strong. And I think that we keep it real. Like we've changed, but in our changing, like we've always kept it real. Like we've always kept it like unapologetically like real. Like this is us. This is who we are. And just accepting all of it has just been, I think, amazing. So yeah. What about you?
I think the fact that we're willing to fight for each other, and fight for our marriage. I think marriage is a fight, and neither one of us want to give up, and we stick with it. I think that's what makes it strong. Like that's what we are committed to, being there for each other, and we see each other, right? And we compliment each other, and we just kind of really learn and practice being intentional about expressing our love language to each other. So I think that's what makes it strong. And then obviously putting God first.
Yes.
And making sure that we keep our spiritual life as much intact as possible. And we know that we're in this together. Yeah. Together forever. So Oni O'Keefe said, not you're back. I didn't even know I said that.
You sure did.
Oh.
You sure did. I was like, okay.
It's so messed up. If like you go on a trip
and I'm like, oh, you're back. Oh, that's terrible. That's when you be like, it's time to it's time to do something different. Right. Let me just say that. It's time to do something different.
Right. Facts.
Oh man, but this has been great. I know we've not been here for a while, but it feels good to be in the space with you all. it feels really good to be in this space, and we just hope that maybe next week we'll come back, because I don't even think next week we'll come back.
Yeah, we should be back next week.
Next week is the 31st of May.
Yeah.
God willing.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.
We'll be back. We'll be back. God willing. God willing, we'll be back.
That's right.
We want to be back. Our hearts are here for sure in this space, wanting to make sure that, we're here, but we also want to amplify. We want to amplify conversations like the ones we've had, the children, conversations about children, conversation about marriage, conversations about church, about the world that we're living in, all the things. Like, we're very much wanting to have those conversations. It's just sometimes schedules, and it's crazy. Well, you know what? I'll say this and then we get ready to go. What's crazy is our calendars are really what we are using to survive, to ensure that we show up in spaces and in places on time. Mm-hmm. Like, if we did not have calendars, I would fail. Almost feel like I would fail, but maybe I won't. Maybe I'll be just fine if I didn't have a calendar.
Maybe you would. I don't know. I know I wouldn't. I will forget everything. I'll be lost without my calendar.
Lost.
Yeah, lost for sure.
Yeah, I'm literally waking up in the morning after I have my devotion. This little girl. After having my devotion, my calendar is the next thing I go to, because I'm like, what's on my calendar? What do I have to do today? Who, Jesus, how did we get here?
It's called adulting.
I didn't feel like my mother was adulting this way.
I think it's adulting. I don't know.
Like, we're adults adulting this way?
Maybe, you don't know.
Like, we're parents, like, really doing what we're doing? Huh?
I don't know.
Like, I really want to know. Like, were parents really?
Know. I think it was different. I think we're in a different era in our world, in our society. I think our parents are from that generation that just had one job, and that was it. And it was a routine. It was wake up, go to work, cook, take care of y'all. That's how I felt like the cycle of my parents were. I think, like, with the way our world is now, we can do some. We are like multitasking multiple things. Some of us have two jobs. Some of us are working a job, living in one state, and the job is in a different state. We got to be on our computer and juggling. I feel like we juggle a lot more. I feel like we juggle a lot more.
Yeah, I feel so too. I feel like it's crazy when we just think about our children and activities alone. Like, it just felt like everything was in our neighborhood, right? Like, we can walk to things. These days, these kids are they have you have to get in a car and drive to your activities. There is no way you can catch a city bus or even walk, right? So it's like,
living in Texas, in New York, them kids probably take the bus. And I think too, like, I would say there's much more access to things that we have now that our parents didn't have. I think we make more money than our parents did. So now because we do that, we are able to put our children, or we're able to enjoy more things because of just how different the world is now. Can't imagine what it's like when our kids are adults.
My gosh, what if you?
Right. So but I do think though, the same thing back then is the same thing today. Is like, how do you balance all the things that you have to do? Because I think our parents had a healthy balance to be able to raise us and to be able to cook, to clean, to go to work, and find time for all the other stuff. And it's the same way we are too. So,
but I feel like I feel honestly, my mother did it seamless. Like it was seamless. Like it's like what?
yeah, and I'm
After
sure
a certain time though, because after a certain time, she was like, y'all cooking, you have to cook on your own. You know, you're going to have to make dinner or, you know, do stuff. But for the most part, like our girls, it's just, my gosh, it's like, it's a lot. It's a
Yep.
lot.
We work hard to give them the life we didn't have.
Yeah. We really need to learn balance. I feel like that's what I think I'm lacking is balance. How to balance it all, right? How to give them what I didn't have, but also give them what I did have, right? Not just saying because I didn't have this, I'm just going to, and sometimes that's what happens. We kind of go the extreme. Whereas like when you didn't have something you want to give, that's all you want to give your children, what I didn't have. But I think it's a balance of what you had and what you didn't have.
Right.
And just kind of creating like the best, I don't know, balance. But balance, man, that thing is hard.
Super hard.
How to balance life and how to be healthy.
Yep.
He says there used to be 28 hours in a day. Our parents had 4 extra hours to work with. Apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Right.
Because 24 hours definitely doesn't seem like it's enough. It seems as though we need an extra 2 hours. And then there isn't an extra 2 hours. Then the next day roll around and you're like, dang, I got to do this all over again?
Mm-hmm.
I have to say this last thing. Mm-hmm. One of the things that really when you're in routine, the next morning I'm usually like, yo, I gotta do this all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does that hit you sometimes?
Yeah, it makes my legs tired.
Does that happen to you guys too? Like, the same thing I did yesterday, I'm pretty much doing the same thing today.
Yeah, that's why I'm very intentional about making time to do the things I like to do. Because I can't work. I have to go to a store. I have to see somebody. I have to be around. I have to be in places that I like to be. I'm very serious about that. Nowadays.
What happens to you when you kind of get to that point where it's like you feel like the routine, like it's the same thing over and over, copy paste, like what does that, when you get to that point, what does that do for you, or what does that make you feel, or whatever?
I'm ready to quit.
You ready to give up?
Yep, I'm ready to quit. I'm done, and I don't have no problem with quitting. Like I am very good at being like, I'm finished with this.
Wow. Yeah, unfortunately, for me, I never think about that. I never do that.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like because I know this is necessity. Apparently, this is necessity. So I have to keep going. I have to keep doing it.
Yeah. My personality is I'll find something else to do. And I get tired of things. I get tired of something that's too much. So I have to break it up. I need time to just do what I want to do, not do what this job is requiring me to do or what you're requiring me to do. I need time to do what I need to do, and then I can go back. I can come back at it.
Do you agree?
Yep. I have to build breaks into my routine, or I have to go do something that I like to do, and I need to be free to be able to do that.
Junie is like, yeah, I'm an expert quitter too. Oh, this isn't serving me like it should. I'm out. Wow.
I'm not stressing myself. Nope.
Yeah, I don't think I have that quite yet.
Nah, you better develop that.
I usually am just like, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to keep going and going and going and going. And then when it's over, it's come to a cessation. Like it's like school with the girls, like dropping them off, doing all the things. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to keep doing it until.
No, I'll be like, they'll be all right. I have humans are very resilient.
Yeah.
They'll figure stuff out. They'll be all right.
That seems to be your theme for the entire month of May.
Yep.
People are resilient. The amount of times that I heard this thing, people are resilient. People will do whatever it is they want to do.
They will. They will ask you for advice, and then they'll go do what they want to do. I'm like, it's just humans.
Yeah. It kind of sucks, though. Because I don't know. I usually have hope that they will not do, that they will kind of listen and do what you just spent time helping them to do. And then they choose not to do it.
Yeah.
Nah.
I mean, I give advice, and then at the end of the day, I think sometimes I already know when people are wanting to do something and they're only talking to you because they want you to support what they're already going to do. Or I think sometimes people ask for advice and you give it to them, and then I'm okay with whatever decision they decide to make, as long as it doesn't bother or affect me. But I just know that I just feel like humans are resilient people. They will find a way. They will find a way to make whatever they need work. So if I quit, or if I say I'm not doing this no more, humans will find another human to do it.
That's true, but sometimes you quitting can bite you in the butt.
Right. Obviously, yeah, it can, you don't want to burn bridges, but at the same time, it's like, if it's killing me, why am I killing myself to make you better?
Mercy.
I'm out here dying, I'm stressed out, and you enjoying the fruits of what I'm doing, and I'm out here like, I'm going crazy. I'm like, nah, I'm all right. Go find somebody else to do it. I'll go find something else to do.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. To a certain extent. I agree with you. I just feel like I'll just keep pushing until I can't push anymore, unless I have like a really good option to consider. I feel like for you, you won't consider the options. You just be like, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm more like, I need to process through it. I need to think about, okay, if I do, let me weigh my options. Let me see what is available. So I make sure that I don't like really fall on my butt. Like, I'm gonna make sure.
Yeah, I think I'm calculated like that too. I think in everything, I've always got something in my back pocket.
Yeah, you do.
I always got something in my back. I'm always working on something.
It's true.
So that I could be like, man, all right, I'm out.
It's true. You do. You're very consistent with that. You don't make a move before you have already processed through another move that you're just kind of like setting up. So I give you that. Okay. Consistent. All right, folks. It's been well over an hour and 10 minutes.
Yep. And we will see you next week.
God willing. So this is Carlene, y'all.
This is Jamie.
Peace.
Peace.
3, 2, 1.